So people are having a hard time understanding this whole how I'm in a poly relationship thing, especially when it's in relation to Daddy-O. And a guy asked me yesterday, was Daddy-O married? And I don't show you guys Daddy-O much. I talk about Daddy-O all the time, but I never show anybody Daddy-O because Daddy-O that's private. You know what I mean? I show you guys a lot of my life already. My relationships are private. Like, people say I'm known to put guys on blast, but no man who has been in a serious relationship with me can say that I put him on blast. I put a dude on blast for some fuck shit. And I've only done that for a handful of guys. I've only did that for like 3 guys. And they were really on some fuck shit. And I don't mean on some regular fuck shit. I mean on some crazy fuck shit. It's almost like when a criminal does something and he's on the news. It's the same thing. So Daddy-O is poly like me. I'm poly. I'm polyamorous, okay? So people want to understand how is that. It isn't about multiple sex partners. It's not having a whole bunch of sex or anything like that. It's more of having intimate friendships with each other, with whoever you want. And it's about getting to know people, having a friendship, you know, just taking the time out to, you know, get to know people, and you're able to do that with however many people you want to do that with. People always relate everything back to sex when it comes to relationships, but relationships are not supposed to be built on sex at all. And my relationship with Daddy-O is not built on sex at all. It's like me and him could go without having sex, and it's all good. We'll be fine. You know what I mean? It's not no, because we were friends first, and you know, usually I'm friends first with guys anyway, so we do a whole bunch of other stuff together that I really, really enjoy. I've spoken about, you know, the numerous amount of things that we do. I also saw somebody comment, and I ended up deleting this comment because of the stuff that they were saying, but they did say something inside of the comment that brought to my attention. They were talking about how the reason why I don't want to be married and I don't want to be in a committed relationship is because I've given up. Because I've been through so much and I've given up. No. That ain't even the huge part of it. The huge part is I've never been inside of a relationship and felt comfortable. Like, I've never been in a committed relationship and actually felt comfortable with the situation. I had my first relationship at 15. I was with him on and off for 10 years. And then I was with my daughter's father for 5 or 6 years. So, you know, the relationships I've been in, I've never been in a comfortable one where it was extremely peaceful and drama-free. There was always a problem. And the only time it wasn't a problem is when me and the person I was having sex with or hanging out with or whatever with, me and that person was just friends, and that person could do what they want to do. That's the only time I've ever felt comfortable. It's not necessarily that I want to do what I want to do, but I don't want the person in my life to be around me out of obligation. I would prefer that they're there because they want to be. That's my thing about marriage and relationships. I specifically do not, I repeat, do not, okay, want someone in my life because we're married and we got to stick together and such and such and such because we have to, because we have no choice. I don't want that. I want somebody with me because they love me and they want to be with me. And I've noticed ever since I've dropped all of these standards and requirements and rules and regulations, I actually found a guy that I was looking for. And I said this to Daddy-O. We were sitting on a couch, and I said, you know, when I was younger, when I was pressed to be in a relationship, when I wanted to be married, I was dating guys. And yes, when people find out that Daddy-O is a geek, they ask me, have I always been dating geeks? Yes, I've always been dating geeks. Like, I've always ended up in a relationship with someone who is also a geek. People don't understand. I'm a computer geek. I'm a nerd. So if we don't have an intellectual connection, I can't do it. With Daddy-O, there are so many other things about Daddy-O that I never would have stood for. I never would have stood for. Number one, I don't like to date men who are divorced or who have been married. I don't do that. I don't like that. Before, when I wanted to be married, my thing was I will never marry someone who's already been married, because to me, that bond, once you go in front of God and you make this promise, that person is your husband and wife forever. It doesn't matter whether you sign the papers or not. That's your husband or wife. That's number one. Number two, I never wanted to date anybody who had more than one kid, because all I have is one kid. So if they had more than one kid, no go. And there are so many things like that prevented me from finding the guy that I want. Now that I don't have all of the rules and regulations, and I only named 2, but there were so many other ones, here comes Daddy-O. I basically got out of my own way. It's kind of like that movie Something New. You seen Something New with Sanaa Lathan? And one of her friends, Wendy, what is her name? Wendy Raquel Robinson. She actually meets Mike Epps, and he's a chef. and she's saying you basically get out of your own way, and she ends up dating this guy, it's because those rules and regulations that people put up that they consider standards are what's stopping them from finding the type of person that they want to be with.
4 Belvedere Valentinis for 4 beautiful ladies.
Thank you. I want to make a toast. Yes. We may not have everything we want at the moment, but we do have each other. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Oh, Kenya, this is fabulous.
Okay, let's get down to business. Where are the brothers?
Thank you. Where's the eye candy?
Ooh, you gotta keep on
Honey. Okay, Shantae. Oh my. And that is why we are the 42.4%.
The what?
42.4% of black women have never been married.
I read that article. It didn't say we'd never get married. It just said we have yet to.
Okay, so when is it gonna happen in the afterlife, please?
Well, even if 42.4% of us never get married, that still means 57.6 of us will, and that's a substantially greater percentage.
Thank you, Miss Numbers Queen. It's very impressive. However, those odds are completely against us. It says the phenomenon is most acute among African American women who are educated professionals. Judge, accountant, banker, pediatrician, that'd be us.
I'm just tired of being classified as a victim. Single black professional woman destined to be unhappy and alone. I mean, I just have to keep believing I'll find the one.
True.
I don't even need all that. I just want a good brother.
That's right.
He doesn't have to make a lot of money so long as he's got a job. He just has to be taller than me, college educated, and not crazy. No kids, good teeth, and no kinky sex. I mean, I like to switch it up a bit, but, you know, what?
You're doing it again.
The list, Kenya, the list.
You know what? You should have stayed with Rashid Muhammad.
I couldn't do the Muslim chauvinist thing.
Whatever, girl. Rashid was fine, okay? I would have been a bean pie eating, mosque going, walking 5 steps behind his behind, wearing a burqa.
Listen, I've been listening to this new CD by Dr. LaWanda Phillips. Now, she says if we keep hanging on to this preconceived notion of what we think we want, that we're actually cutting ourselves off from our universal abundance. See, we hold on so tight to this image that we have of our IBM. Ideal black man. But she says that we've got to let go in order to let love flow. In fact, that's what it's called. Let go, let flow. That means you, Kenya. No more lists.
Let go, let flow.
That's right.
Yes, and it's a whole lot better than keep hope alive.
That's right. Okay, y'all.
This universe is listening. Let flow.
Perfect, my love.
To me, marriage is a waste of time. I don't like the double standards inside of a marriage. Like, I don't like the idea of a man marrying a woman and he brings all of the finances into the marriage, and then when they break up, the wife gets to take him for all of his money. He goes from living in this huge mansion with this woman and living a comfortable life before she even came, and then she comes and she might have a baby or two, and suddenly this man is living damn near in poverty because his damn income has been sliced in half because someone who didn't help him earn the money gets to walk away and take half of his money. I don't like shit like that, because there's a lot of women out here who are just using their husbands for money. They don't have their own jobs. They're not even going out there looking for their own jobs. They're just using their husband for money. I don't like women who are lazy like that. Yeah, your job is to take care of the kids. I get it. Yeah, I get it. But as a woman, you need to have your own source of income, even if it's something small. What if something happens to your husband? What if your husband dies? What if he passes away? What if something happens to him? Then what you're going to do? How you going to take care of the kids? So you got to have your own skill and your own thing going on the side, so you don't have to solely rely on your husband or your boyfriend's finances. That's what I always try to tell women. Have your own shit too, because I cannot stand being able to go to another man and ask him for money to get what I want. Like, no, I'd rather go out there and get my own bread. And there's too many opportunities out here for women now that you can go and, you know, get money. Now, even if you had a work from home job, you can do that. You know what I mean? If you don't want to leave, and maybe you have some younger kids, maybe you have some toddlers that haven't been going to school, maybe you can get you a work from home job, something like that. But don't take these men money like that if y'all get divorced. A lot of women like to use that because they think that's what's going to hurt these men. And number two, I don't like the fact that wives have to be like these perfect people. They can't go around and do what the fuck they want to do. Like, they have to be under the thumb of their husband in order to be a wife. there's certain things that society has said that women have to do in order to be considered wife. And, you know, if a woman doesn't do these things, or she's not that kind of woman, she can't be a wife type of thing. It's weird. And I don't just mean sexually. I just mean anything. Like people say a woman that's opinionated or has an independent mind, she can't be a wife because she has to know how to be submissive. What the fuck does independence have to do with submission? I'm independent all day, but when daddy will come around, submission, it's not that complicated. So I don't know where people get that nonsense from, but I don't like that. And I don't like the fact that out of all of the people that I've ever met, I've only met like 2 or 3 people who actually fix their lips to say they are happily married to someone. And all of those people are people who have been married to the people that they met when they was in high school. Yeah, 3 or 4 people I know who have been married since we graduated from high school, and they're still married to this day, and they're the only people that be like, yo, I love being married. I love my husband. I'm never gonna get divorced. And then people who got married in like their mid-20s or maybe, you know, 30s or 40s, they hate being married. Straight up. Like, they like, don't even do it. It's not what it's cracked up to be. The other day I was in Chick-fil-A. I saw 2 white girls telling 2 other white girls, like, please don't do it. Girl, don't jump. You know what I'm saying? And their husbands was black. So, I don't know. I just don't like the idea of marriage. My mother's never been married. My grandmother's been married 3 times. And I have no interest in it. It's not about really giving up. It's more of, I'm just not interested. Like, it doesn't sound appealing to me. A committed relationship does not sound logical and appealing to me. All right, a poly relationship does, because it's comfortable, it's more calmer, you're having more fun, you're having a good time, no one's pressuring anybody to do anything. Does daddy-o want monogamy? Yeah, he wants monogamy. But at the same time, he can't be with me and be monogamous because I am poly. So it's like he just takes what he can get. You know what I'm saying? He's like, okay, well, cool, you know, we can rock that way too. And I'm like, all right, shit, as long as everybody comfortable. But that doesn't mean that if you want to be married, don't not try to get married because I'm telling you I'm poly. This is about me. This is what I think marriage is about, you know. You could be friends with somebody for years on top of years on top of years and have a companionship and never be married. I mean, no point to me. It's people that's been with each other so long now, they common law married. You know, so you have to just chill. Like, whatever works for you, whatever flows for you, flows for you. I know for me, what flows for me is being in a poly situation. So if I decide to tell daddy, oh, hey, I want to go kick it with such and such, no big deal. Whatever. And like I said, it's not really about sex. It's more of just, you know, I might enjoy daddy-o's company, and then tomorrow I might enjoy somebody else's company, just them being around or us hanging out or us going on a date. It's nothing that serious. So I think marriage is not even, you know, that serious to me. 7 reasons why you shouldn't get married. Number 1, you just happy, single. Number 2, you just choose not to. Couples are starting to understand that it's unnecessary to have to be married. You just don't have to be married. It's not a requirement for survival. Number 3, a lot of people aren't ready, okay? But to be honest with you, there's never a time to be ready to be married. Like, even when you get married, there are gonna be things that you experience that you didn't know was coming. Okay, it's almost like having a baby. Like, people be like, did you plan a baby? You don't really plan a baby. When it happens, you kind of just like, you know, you gotta just let it happen. It's just one of those things. Number 4, you don't believe in it. A lot of people get married in the church because that's what you're supposed to do, but a lot of them don't even go to church. They just get married in the church. Like those people that go to church on Easter and that's it. Like, most people do that. That's what you don't understand. A lot of people just simply aren't Christian. They don't go to church every Sunday. They just got married at church. Number 5, you don't believe in monogamy. That's me. Okay? Monogamy to me, the ideology of marriage, your lifestyle choices can make you very happy. You know what I mean? Very happy, or they can make you very miserable. Number 6, you're pregnant. Don't get married simply because you're pregnant. That's not a good idea. If you don't think you have a decent future with this man or this woman, y'all can still have a baby and not be married. Okay? There are still people who have been married and they got divorced and their kids grew up to be just fine. But why even go through all that? Just don't even bother getting married. Sometimes it's the other way around with people. Sometimes people get married first and then they have babies. But there's no order of operations. You're supposed to get this shit done. The only order of operations I say is friendship first, love second, sex third. That's it. That's the order of operations to me. It isn't marriage, baby, finances, or finances, marriage, baby, or marriage, finances, baby. It's just friendship, love, sex. in that order. Number 7, you feel pressured. Someone's pressuring you. They're saying, hey, I want to commit it. I want to be married. 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 I want to be in a relationship. I want to be... No. That's even more reason not to do it, okay? My thing is, do what you want to do. Because I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to do what makes me happy. I don't give a fuck what society asks me to do. I'm going to do whatever. If I don't want to be married, I'm not going to do it. Simple as that. Hey guys, so I preach all of the time about how I'm going to stay single because I don't believe in marriage and commitment. Being in a poly relationship right now with Daddy-O is awesome. I feel great. I think it definitely has something to do with the freedom and not having the responsibility of trying to be something somebody else wants me to be. I mean, don't get it twisted. We respect each other. But there was a time where I wanted to be married. People asked me about, how could I feel how I feel about marriage because I haven't been married, and I don't have to be married. You know what I mean? I've been engaged 3 times, and I've been proposed to 7. I actually went to the prom 3 times, to 3 different proms. So, men have always been attracted to me. I'm a pretty decent woman, and I'm not trying to boast or anything. I'm just saying I'm a really cool friend, and a lot of men enjoy the friendship that they have with me because I'm really, really good at that. I'm just really, really genuinely kind. Because I've been engaged 3 times, and each time it was something different that made me decide not to get married. The first time, our first year together was the best. We didn't get into one argument. Not one. First year and a half of our relationship, we were like madly in love with each other, and you couldn't break us apart. What ended up happening is he began to beat me. We began to fight. At first, I think it was my fault because I grew up in a family where everybody argued and I was beat and molested, and so I think it was my fault that started us, because I think I got mad at him one time and I became like extremely aggressive. I didn't hit him, but I think I opened the door for him to feel like he could hit me because his father would abuse his mom. He was actually deaf in one ear because his father beat him bad. And then one day I just got tired and I started fighting him back, so we started fighting all the time. I remember one time out front of my apartment complex, it had to be 2 o'clock in the morning. We were like standing on this hill, and he pushed me down this hill, and I screamed down the hill. My mother came outside and saw. And from then on, she hated him. He had held me hostage one time. I couldn't get out of the apartment we lived in. He didn't want me to leave. So I had to climb off of the balcony and climb down to get out the house to run. And I ran to my cousin's house, and I was like, listen, he done had me held hostage in the damn apartment with no phone, no nothing for 3 days. And none of you thought to come knock on the door and see was I okay. Like, what? Like, hello. So anyway, that was the first one. The second one, I was engaged to an Atlanta photographer. When I first met him, he wasn't really popular yet. He hadn't really learned the business yet. And so I took a lot of time with him to help him create his business. And so I taught him everything I knew about photography and modeling. And of course, you guys know, if you don't know, I was a model for, 6 years. And so when I met him, my career had already been flowing, and I knew so much and had a lot of connects. And of course, I knew about marketing and business. So I helped him with his business. And, money changes people. People become something different once they get popular. And so I saw him become someone that I was not pleased with at all. Initially, like I said, I'm a good friend, so we started off as friends, and I started helping him the best way I could, and kind of put my career to the side and started try to be the best friend I could be and help him with his business. And as he became more popular and got more money, guess what comes with that? More cars, more luxury, more women. And so it got to a point where women were so disrespectful towards me that they'd call me and say, hey, yeah, I'm fucking your man, and what, and the dick good, and I'm gonna keep doing it. And he would go off to trips to Miami. I would beg him to take me to Miami because he had a loft in Miami, and I would beg him to take me. He'd never take me. And come to find out, he would go to Miami and just fuck models, fuck makeup artists, fuck hairstylists, whoever he could when he was away. And, when he proposed, the way he proposed was kind of interesting to me. I was surprised that he proposed the way he did. It was kind of off a little bit. It didn't feel right the ring that he got me, it didn't feel right. It didn't feel fit for me. And seeing it on my finger, it just felt like this isn't my wedding ring, or this does not fit even my personality, because I'm not like a flashy woman. I'm very basic and classic. So if he wanted to get me a ring, it would have had to been just very, not, I don't know. First of all, I don't like how diamonds are shaped like, I don't like or how a ring, and on the ring, the diamond is shaped this way. I like it to be square, not a, like, you know what I mean? Like a diamond. I want it to be like, I don't know. It was just too flashy, and I knew, I was like, this feels wrong. And then this one girl, I never forget her name. She actually has a YouTube channel. Her name is Montana De Leon. Very beautiful girl. She does makeup tutorials, and she used to give advice. And she calls me, she texted me one day and told me that her and him had been dealing with each other, and that she knows that he deals with a whole bunch of women, and from one woman to another, that I should leave him alone. And she sent me text messages that he had sent her, and not only had the girls been calling me, but we had started physically fighting as well. So it was like, his parents were also abusive. His father used to abuse his mom. We started physically fighting. One time we was at the QT, and he blocked me in to the QT, so I couldn't get out. I had to call the police. And at that time in my truck I had OnStar, so all I had to do was press the button and the police came. And after I moved out of the house I was living in with him with his parents, I went back to my mother's house, and he would come to the house, and it started scaring my mom. So she went and got a shotgun and was like, we're gonna have to do something because he's getting too aggressive. And one time he hit me so hard in my mouth, I had to talk through my teeth. I was talking like this because he had did something fucked up to my jaw. And it just scared my mother, and my mother was just like, you need to file a restraining order against him. And so when he called me that same day she told me that, and I said to him, I'm going to file a restraining order against you if you don't leave me alone. He basically talked a lot of shit and didn't believe I was going to do it. And so the next day, matter of fact, 2 days later, after he had been calling for a couple of days, my mother was like, you need to go file this restraining order. So I get all the way to DeKalb County's office to where you could file a restraining order, and he had filed one on me. I mean, I remember the clerk saying, he filed one against you, and here you are filing against him. And she said, well, you can get it thrown out if you go see the judge. So I went to go see the judge, and the judge was like, well, I'm not going to grant him this restraining order at all, and I think you two should just stay away from each other. I'm like, I'm hoping he'd stay away from me. And so when you look on the internet and you look and you see it says someone filed a restraining order against me, it's not that he was granted the restraining order. He filed it in order to be cruel and callous. And this is when I started to notice that there was an ugly pattern in the men that I had been dating. So after that, I started dating this actor that was in a lot of movies and in General Hospital and whatever. I started dating him, and he had been my friend for 5 years. So by the time we started dating, we got engaged extremely quickly. There was no reason to wait. We knew each other, and I think what ended up happening with that, so many people were in our business. So many people knew about our relationship, and I had so many toxic people around me. When I think about my life inside of the entertainment industry, I had so many toxic people around. I was really just looking forward to being with him. My daughter cared for him. Him and my daughter got along well. Him and my family got along well. I mean, I just really enjoyed this man. We always had conversations about God. His father was a pastor. It just flew right for me. Problem came when I found out he had been cheating with the woman that he lived with before he was with me. And when I confronted him about it, he lied. This was right before we were supposed to go and get married. I think we were supposed to be married that next week, 2 weeks ahead or something like that. Matter of fact, this is what the tattoo on my hand. Can you see it? That's his name. That's his name right there. I got that for him because every time he would get me a wedding ring, For some reason, I don't know if it was because it was cheap or whatever the case may be, it did something horrible to my finger. And so I figured, you know, maybe he can't afford a decent ring, so I'll do this for him. That's the origin of this tattoo. I was really like, I can't believe he's doing this. You know what I mean? Like, he knows how much I've been through, and he knows how I would prefer for him to be honest. Why is he doing this? He followed me out to my car, and I was like, please get out of my car so I can go home, because I cannot talk about this right now because you're still lying to me. And he says to me, so what? I'm fucking talking to my ex. What's the big deal? I think something came over this hand because I felt like that was so disrespectful, and I slapped the shit out of him. I mean, like, slapped the shit out of him because that was so rude. And I'd already been telling him to get out the car. So what he does is he takes his hand and smashes my head into the driver's side window of my car. And we commence to brawling, okay? Because basically I slap him again and slap him. And then I said, you know what? Get the fuck out my car. And this was like 6 years ago. And from then on, I had decided that I was never going to be in a relationship with anybody that would hit me or argue with me. If anybody got me that angry to where we would start arguing, I would not want to be with them anymore. And from then on, I decided I wasn't going to do any committed relationships unless I knew that the relationship was being sent to me by a higher power. I said, God, and this is when I really started, because I had stopped praying for men. Because I used to pray for men all the time. And when I would pray for men, God would send me like these horrible guys. So I had stopped praying for men. And so I said to God, I said, listen, keep me single. Keep me single. The next guy that you send me, I will change everything about me for him. I will love him hard. I will be at his beck and call. I will give him whatever it is he needs. I'll be my sweetest. I'll be funny. I'll do for him. All of the rules and regulations that I had before are gone. Me being such a prune sexually, I'll stop that and I'll try anything. And he brought me B. He brought me Busy B. And he became my life partner. Our first year, I opened up extremely sexually to him. Whatever kind of sex he wanted, I gave him. We started having threesomes and we were fine. We were fine. And then suddenly, it started declining. And I told God before Busy B even came around, I was like, listen, if this does not work out, listen, if the next guy you send me, this doesn't work out, after I made all of these changes of myself, I'm never being in a relationship again. I'm not committing to nobody. I'm not looking to be married. Busy B is it. The next guy is it. And so then B came and we're doing threesomes together, and he ended up breaking the bond by lying to me and cheating on me. So that's basically how I ended up just deciding, you know, I don't want to do committed relationships or marriages. And since, you know, I tried to stick to Busy B. We broke up after our first year, and then 3 or 4 years after, we continued to like be on and off. I actually met Chris before I met Busy B. And Chris had added on to me saying to God, the next person you send me, I'm going to be more open. You know, Chris had taught me some stuff, so I was like, well, my next relationship, I'm going to be a completely different person, especially sexually. So, and it did not work. And ever since, I've been single and much happier. I've been much happier not being in, you know, relationships. It actually feels a lot better. Like, because I'm not worried, you know, like when Daddy-O goes off and does what he wants to do, like right now he's out somewhere doing God knows what, and I'm completely fine with that. You know what I mean? I'm like, all right. And it's not necessarily a giving up thing. It's more of, I just don't, the desire is definitely gone. Like there's nothing, you know what I mean? I just don't want it, you know? Like my mother's never been married. My grandmother's been married 3 times. I have aunts and uncles who have been divorced. I've seen people's marriages. No thank you. Like, I'm good. I don't even know why I was thinking so positively of marriage anyway, because I've heard so many people speak so negatively about it. So why did I even think this was something I was supposed to do? It's because society had programmed me to believe as a woman, the only way value could be added to my life is if I was somebody's wife. I threw those beliefs all the way out the window. That's in detail why I won't get married. I'm good on that. If you have any video topic suggestions in relation to sex, love, and relationships, I would appreciate it if you send it to me. Can you try very hard to not make it about race? Okay, because I want my channel to start becoming a more universal place. I've answered a lot of questions when it comes to race. I really just, for some reason, when I upload something about race, you guys watch it like crazy. But if it's something about sex, love, and relationship, it doesn't get as many hits. And I think people are intrigued to hear more about what Black women think when it comes to relationships. And I'm not sure what color people are that are asking me these questions. Like, I have white people watching, I have Black people watching, but I just want to expand my channel on a level to where it's more universal than me just simply sitting here talking about race all of the time. So when you give me your video topic suggestions, just try to think of different ways and different ideas. And I appreciate you being my executive producers, coming up with these wonderful ideas on what I should do on my channel, okay? Give me your video topic suggestion by going to Soncerae.com or texting me at 678-856-3463. Thanks for watching. Bye. Hey, it's Soncerae here. Usually I don't agree with the videos that these men on YouTube make, but I was watching Ringo Raw TV, which is odd for me to say this, but why was I watching it? Because that's for men. But I watched it, and I watched this video where he spoke about marriage in it, and I agree with a lot of the things that he's saying. I always tell men, don't get married. I always tell women, don't get married. Don't get married. Because the rules that society, especially men, because it's not a fair system for you. It's not a fair, it's just a horrible thing for you to do. Like, if you're gonna get married, I think you should do common law marriage. Common law marriage is better for you. Common law marriage is one in which the couple, usually a man and woman, lives together for a period of time and holds themselves out to friends, family, and the community as being married, but never goes through the formal ceremony or gets a marriage license. Don't involve the courts inside of your relationship. I was telling Daddy-O just yesterday as we were talking about all of the things I don't have in my name. Like, I have no credit. I'm the person that has no credit. And sometimes that's difficult, but at the same time, I kind of like that I never got any credit cards, and the only thing that I really have in my name like that is my car. Everything else I paid flat out cash with, period. And before this car, I paid cash for the car I had before. So I didn't have a note before I had this car, and I've only had this car for 2 years. I don't like to put stuff in my name because I feel like my personal life and my business life are two different lives. To me, America is a business. To me, the government is a business. So if I want to put something in my name, I'm going to put it under a tax ID or a business name in order to get those things. I'm going to have business credit. I'm never going to have personal credit because I don't feel like America is a personal place. It's a business. That's why we have a president. The United States is a corporation. So, and once you understand how that goes, you will never participate in any of the contracts and legal things that have to do with, you know, running a business. You won't pull that stuff into your personal life. That's why I tell people don't get married. I tell people don't get on child support. I tell people don't get on government assistance. Don't do any of that. The only thing that you should be doing inside of America is starting a business.
You are not to marry any woman, whether she's black, white, Asian, it doesn't matter. Do not marry any woman based on the system in terms of you getting a marriage license. I'm teaching men not to even marry a woman based on the system. In other words, do not marry any woman based on the system. That way, the government have no jurisdiction over your marriage to govern what you could do, can't do. They can't tell you nothing because they have no control over you because you don't have no license based on the system. You did not sell out your family to the system. Now, if you're a brother who got married based on the system and you're married to a decent, good woman who isn't with the bullshit like these other sisters, then you're in good money. Even if you are connected to the system, you know your woman not going to do you dirty. But to you brothers who don't have a wife, who may be out there in search of that woman or women, depending on your beliefs, then I am here to let you know what you need to practice is what is known as common law marriage.
If you get married, if you want to get married, I suggest you get married in a completely different country because the laws are different there. But if you are in America and you want to be married here, do common law marriage. Again, I don't believe in marriage. For the most part, I never plan on being married, ever. Like, I have no intention of doing that. And fellas, if you get married, do a prenup, man. Get a prenup. Ladies, you get married, get a prenup. Seriously, so everybody can leave with what they came with. Because a lot of the reasons why people are getting divorced, it's two reasons mainly. It's cheating and it's money. Cheating, money. That's the two biggest things people argue about. That's why I don't want to be married. You don't have to worry about either when you're not married. You're not in a commitment. You're not living together. You're not doing any of that. You're just chilling. You're just chilling. And I think people feel like if they don't get married or they're going to be alone forever and they're going to have like this horrible death. No, like what makes people think that they're going to be alone forever? You act like you don't have any family or friends or whatever. Like, come on. Even with me, I can't have kids, right? I can't have more kids. That doesn't mean I'm not going to go to the foster care system and adopt some or have a foster home. I go around here and I speak to the youth. I build relationships with young people. It's always going to be people around. You're never going to do anything alone unless you choose to. You really got to be a son of a bitch for you to spend the rest of your life by yourself. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So that's not something you have to worry about. If you're a kind person, if you're a sweet person, if you're fun to be around, you're always going to have someone there to be there for you as a friend or as a support system. So that's not something that you have to worry about. Excuse me as I kiss the sky.
There are a number of inappropriate videos being published on YouTube about Soncerae with malicious intent. These videos violate YouTube's community guidelines. We ask that you report any content that promotes or condones violence against her because of her race, gender, age, economic status, sexual orientation, or relationship status, as well as content that incites hatred or harassment. If you see any misleading descriptions, tags, titles, or thumbnails that use her name, image, footage, or voice in order to increase views, please report the content. Things like predatory behavior, stalking, threats, harassment, intimidation, invading privacy, revealing other people's personal information, and inciting others to commit violent acts all break YouTube's community guidelines. Thank you for watching. We appreciate your subscription.
Hey, it's Soncerae here. What up, though? I almost got married last year. Like, what? I've been wondering, do men even want to get married? A lot of women think men don't want to marry. I'm the woman that was like, yo, I'm never getting married. Not because I want a whole bunch of different sex partners or anything. And not because I'm team single, because I'm like this, woman that wants to sleep with a whole bunch of different men. Nah, it was more of, you know what? I see a lot of people unhappily married and I just don't want to put myself in that position. I don't even want to do a committed relationship. I'd rather us just be friends and hang out. We ain't got to have sex or nothing. Like, I'm not even interested in any of that. I just want to have a good time. I spent 38 years of my life going through some negative stuff, and I want to spend the next 38 doing something positive. And I remember telling the last man I dated that. See, he listened though, he did. At first he was like, okay, I want to be happy too. But he was not on his best behavior. Boop, boop, you okay over there? He had issues that he needed to work out, and instead of working those issues out before he ended up in a relationship with me, he actually brought those issues inside of the relationship with me, and that was the demise of our situation. I'm surprised I almost got married. He was married to the wrong person for 15 years, and I definitely was like, I'm not trying to be the person that's going to waste another 15, with a person that I shouldn't be with. I tell people all the time, marriage is not going to save you. People are like, you should get married before you have kids. You should do this, do that, do this. Nah, because you can still get cheated on, married. You can still get lied to, married. You can still end up broke. Married. My son's father was married. He was broke and so was she. Like, marriage is not going to save you from anything. Listen, he was supposedly separated and he was spending his money on me. He had the poor child sitting here evicted and I didn't even know. So trust me, marriage does not save you. Men don't want to be married. Men avoid marriage. I don't think that that's true, okay? Let me tell you what I believe. I believe that men don't want to marry the wrong person. I just made a video recently. I was talking about how women want to be led, because a lot of people believe that black women don't want to be led. And so I'm like, well, it isn't that we don't want to be led. We just don't want to be led by the wrong person. Then this person ends up leading us in the wrong direction. So it's the same thing with men in regards to marriage. Men don't want to be married to the wrong woman. And every man's definition of what a good wife and mother would be is different. Listen, a woman could get the right person in her life, as well as a man could get the right person in his life, and it will improve their pedigree. No one wants to be in any type of situation where they're gonna get some blowback on them. A lot of us don't necessarily have the bandwidth to continue to be inside of these horrible relationships, these toxic situations. So we're fearing even getting involved with certain people. Some people want to be married so bad they will do it by hook or by crook. Nobody wants to be poached though. Nobody wants to be played. You trying to poach me? Are you poaching me? Who's pimping who here? Who's playing who? Everybody giving everybody a little secret, little side eye. Then you got other people not being able to mind their business. You inside of a relationship, people whispering in your partner's ear. Then your relationship is all over the place. With the aid of a person with questionable history and suspect moral character, suddenly your relationship is all up in flames because somebody decided to listen to somebody's rumor or suggestion about what they should do inside of their relationship or marriage. We got so many things orbiting around us. I'm surprised anybody's relationship could be healthy at this point. A lot of people still holding on to negative residue from their previous situation, jumping in relationship to relationship to relationship because they're so afraid to be alone. Listen, leave me by myself. I'm going through something. I'm gonna need a little healing process. No one wants to admit, oh, I'm hurt or I'm angry. Oh, you know me. I went through my whole little healing process on YouTube. People judge me. Guess what? I ain't even care. Still don't. Listen, I ain't gonna sit up here and be like everybody else living in this sanctimonious bubble. There's ramifications for everything. I'm in the process right now of solving my budget crises. I ain't got time to be sitting here putting on no mask, pretending to tell y'all something happening when it ain't, or vice versa. I'm here to give you the realness. People procure up all types of false rumors and stuff to say about what this sex is doing and what that race is doing and blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, only you know what's best for you and your situation. Boop, boop, boop. Men don't want to get married, but they procreate like a mama. Hey, mama. Look at that big boy. Look at the big boy. Men want to get married, and there's plenty of men out there who have decided to be amazing husbands, amazing stepfathers. People tell me all the time, Soncerae, you're gonna find you an amazing husband who's gonna take care of you in justice. I'd be like, why does everybody tell me that? They're like, you're such an amazing woman. I see a lot of men in my comment section swear up and down that single mothers are never going to get married or they're the worst person. And then I get like all of these messages from single mothers like, I met a man right after I had my son or daughter, and we have been happy ever since, and he takes care of my child like my child is his own. Sometimes women, we gotta be like, thank you for the sperm, bum, and keep it moving and find another guy who's a better man. A lot of the times people make mistakes when they're choosing a partner, and that's okay. You know, we improve with time. You only learn your lesson through experience. Life is the best teacher. Experience is the best teacher. I don't care what anybody says. All people have gone through it, men too. You have chosen a woman in your life that shouldn't be there at some point, trust me. So women aren't the only ones who make a mistake in regards to choosing a partner. Men do it all the time, because some of y'all got some crazy baby mamas, I swear to God. Like, I look at the stuff that I do and I be like, oh my God, I'm such the coolest baby mama on the planet. Have you noticed that most of the men who have cool baby mamas, they treat their kids so bad? And then men who have like the roughest, hardest baby mamas be the ones that want to take care of their kids so bad and the baby mama won't let them? Have you noticed that? It's like a weird, like, it's ironic. It's like crazy.
The sisterhood has arrived!
Excuse me as I kiss the sky. Hey, my name is Soncerae. Welcome to my channel. I have videos about money, spirituality, relationships, of course. I even talk about my own personal heartbreak, so just check out those playlists. You'll definitely find something in there that you enjoy, okay? Now I want to talk to my ladies.
The sisterhood has arrived!
Now, if you don't know, I do not believe in the institution of marriage. Not in the sense that you do. I believe that legal marriage is a collaboration between you, a man, and the government. Spiritual marriage to me is a collaboration between you, the person you're in a relationship with, and God. I was in a spiritual marriage. I went through a spiritual divorce. It was very difficult, okay? One of the hardest things I had to do was rebuild my relationship with God, because I couldn't understand how God could put me in a situation where I put all of my trust into Him, and I also trusted my son's father. Now, even though I don't believe in legal marriage, I don't believe the court should be a part of anything that you do with the man that you're with. Him loving you is enough. You have to figure out, do these men love you? Marriage does not equal love. There are plenty of people who are married and they're being cheated on, they're being lied to, they're being abused. So just because a man gives you his last name, puts a ring on it, buys you a house, buys you a car, doesn't mean he knows how to love you. People do not hurt the people that they love. Now that we have established that I'm the new age or modern woman or whatever, basically all it is that my entire existence does not revolve around the whims of men. The difference between me and typical Tanya is that typical Tanya will tap into her inner weak bitch and be desperate for validation from men. I'm not telling you to disrespect men. I'm not telling you to hate men. I'm not telling you to be bitter towards men. I am telling you that the self-love and the self-care is more important than you getting love from a man. You cannot give men any type of love until you love yourself.
Are you in the market for an organic hair growth product that will make your hair healthy and strong and very potent? Queen Lily Hair Growth Oil is all for you. This month, December 2020, Christmas special, 2 for $25. You have the original and you have the edges. It's all about healthy hair, growing long, luxurious, healthy hair. Queen Lily Hair Growth Oil. You can purchase it at IamLilyYoung.com. Click on Queen Lily Hair Growth Oil page and make your purchase. 2 for $25. You can't beat it. If you want long, luxurious hair, purchase it from my website, IamLilyYoung.com. And as I stated, I'm running a Christmas special this month. 2 for $25 for long, beautiful hair. IamLilyYoung.com. Queen Lily Hair Growth Oil.
I am telling you that the self-love and the self-care is more important than you getting love from a man. You cannot give men any type of love until you love yourself. And if you seeking validation from them, you don't love yourself. Now, I was that woman. I used to be a typical Tanya myself. I spent all of my early 20s pressed to be married. I kept trying relationships over and over and over again until I realized at a certain age that I just didn't want to be in a relationship. I didn't even want to be married. But because so many people in society were leading me to believe that the only way that I could be successful was if I had a healthy marriage, had a good career, had some decent kids, lived in a, nice house, white picket fence, dog, all that stuff, right? The American dream. But I'm from Africa. Now, I like white people or whatever, and America is my favorite place, I love America. But there's certain things that are a part of my culture that makes situations and experiences different for me. I realized that a lot of the indoctrination came from Disney, cartoons, 90-minute rom-coms, little sitcoms like The Cosby Show was teaching me a false definition of what marriage is. Now, people be like, how can you give relationship advice when you have relationships that have failed? I'd be like, But see, okay, but what I was going to say was that, okay, it's simple. Listen. Just because a relationship didn't last forever doesn't mean that it's a mistake. It means that it's a lesson. It's a bump in the road of your journey. Life is not about which one of you and your female friends are going to make it down the aisle first. I'm not sitting here trying to compete with a whole bunch of chickens. We just flapping down the aisle. We just sitting here trying to hurry up and get married, That premise was programmed into our minds to keep us subservient. There are women that are inside of relationships and marriages and they
are completely bored, underappreciated, didn't want to be in it anyway, but they felt like they needed to be in it because they didn't want to take care of their kids alone. This man is giving them room and board, and they ain't got no education or no job, so they can't take care of themselves anyway. Regardless of what type of situation you are in, you have to ask yourself, are you at peace? Are you at peace with where you are? Are you happy where you are? Do you feel fulfilled where you are? If that's the case, and you're in a marriage or a relationship, stay there, do your thing, let it grow. But a lot of people are unhappy inside of their marriages, especially the typical Tanya. Because the typical Tanya got married for the wrong reasons. Typical Tanya got married because of the pressures of society. Typical Tanya got married because she was looking for a man to take care of her financially. Typical Tanya was indoctrinated and is trying to appease maybe her family or her husband. Typical Tanya does not care about herself. Now, it doesn't mean that women who are not typical Tanya are selfish. There's a difference between being selfish versus you taking care of yourself. Because if you don't take care of yourself and do that self-care, you're not going to be any good for any person anyway. You need to exit these relationships and marriages if you have exhausted all options that would have helped you repair that situation. I cannot respect anybody who stays in a situation they know is toxic, they know that it's causing them harm, because they're cowards. They're afraid. Don't be afraid. You know you miserable. It's time to leave. I'm looking for a place that's gonna block this sun. But a lot of women are afraid of choosing wrong. And it's okay to have failed relationships. Even if you have an excessive amount of failed relationships. So what? You have to try harder to be successful. You'll be all right. Choosing wrong does not mean you will never choose right. Once you realize what you need to work on, or once you learn the lesson, no matter how hard-headed you've been, you'll be good money, trust me. Look how many relationships I had to be in before I realized I don't even like relationships. I don't even like what comes with relationships. And I was sitting up here like I don't like cohabitation. When I tell men this, they be like, what? I don't like cohabitation. I like to live alone. I like my alone time. You know, I like being around people when I want to be around people. Like, I want to go out and hang out with people and go to parties and, you know, chill with my family. But I would prefer more alone time than that. And I always been like that. The best relationships I've ever had was relationships where all we did was invest in each other. We never had like this big crowd of people around us. We never had a whole bunch of people pulling on us all the time. It was just me and him, and we would do our own thing, travel and stuff like that. Those are the best relationships I've ever had. But most men don't want that type of relationship. I like drama-free situations. I don't like arguing. I don't like limitation. I don't like my freedom taken away from me. So when I decided to be poly, it had nothing to do with promiscuity. It had nothing to do with me wanting to sleep around or nothing like that. Yeah, I'm a woman with high sex appeal. Yeah, I like sex just like the next woman does. But being poly had nothing to do with sex at all. It had to do with the fact that I want to be free. I want to make my own choices, my own decisions. I only live on this planet once. I only die once. I mean, in my case, maybe twice, because y'all spread that rumor that I committed suicide. But for the most part, you only come here one time. So I want to make sure I lived my life and I experienced what I needed to, and I don't need a man in my life that's going to stop my happiness or be the person that tries to take my peace from me. And too many men try to do that. It's a lot of women that be out there and they be like, it's a lot of women that say, oh, Soncerae, you're only speaking out of hurt. No, I just realized something about myself. I do not like relationships. I don't like the responsibility that comes with it. When I say marriage is oppression, they're like, excuse me? What? I mean, are you like hurt? Who hurt you, girl? No, I just don't like the responsibilities that come with the typical marriage. I can't be typical Tanya. I have so many things that I have to do, just me being by myself. Imagine me being by myself. I got more than one kid. I got a husband I have to take care of. I have all of these responsibilities as far as work goes, my businesses goes. It's just oppression to me. It doesn't mean that it's not a reward for other women. All I'm saying is, do not let the pressure that society put on you make you want to be in a relationship or be pressed to have a husband, because then you're getting married for the wrong reason. You know, women are sitting out here waiting for a man to fall in love with them because they've seen so many Disney movies and 90-minute rom-coms. But men are not programmed to be that way. Men only consider marrying a woman when it's like a little inkling that he gets. Men only settle down when they in the spirit too. And most men are not anxious to catch your brand of the Holy Ghost. Most men are running away from marriage, y'all. Meanwhile, women are running towards it. You see the problem here? It's a lot of women out there. Oh, my mom was married. My grandmother was married. All of my aunts are married. It's tradition for us to be married in our family. All of my friends are married. My grandma taught me this about marriage, and my mom taught me that about marriage. And my favorite YouTuber told me what kind of wife I should be. And if I follow these basic tips, I'll have the wedding I've always dreamed of. I'm sorry, but what these basic bish mentors didn't tell you was that men are about self-preservation. While every woman who is married or engaged is walking around acting like they got the antidote to marriage, these men trying to figure out what gym they're gonna go to play basketball Saturday morning with their homies. While we sitting here planning all of these weddings, making sure the seat chart is right because our families don't get along, men are out here having fun with their lives. Meanwhile, what are you doing? Pressed to be married? Pressed to be in a relationship? Listen, let me tell you something. A woman like me, I will pick up and put down a man like he is a red bottom. And I will continue to do that until one of them men proves he's worth the effort of me even considering doing something other than microwaving him some popcorn. Oh, you want a full course meal? Okay. You better go to Typical Tanya, because I'm out here making all of the misogynists uncomfortable. Men out here sampling any snatch they can find, and you sitting here pressed to find one. They are not the reward, honey. Now, we all want love, right? These women out here getting into these situations because they want love. You're not getting married because you love him. You're getting married because you want his love. You are conditioned to be a pick-me. You desire being validated by him. Him marrying you or being in a committed relationship with you doesn't mean he loves you. Loving you means he loves you. Do you understand that? Get what I'm saying. Hear me good one time. Women always sitting here talking about they want to be some man's one and only. Do you really? Do you really want to be the only thing? The only thing this man pays attention to? What type of narcissist are you? This man can't even go hang out with his homies. You know why? Because you feel insecure the second the man walk out the door. Going through his phone, smelling his boxes. Girl, bye. If that man love you, you ain't got to worry about none of that. You know why? Because when a man genuinely is down for you, he will see a woman from across the room, wave, and keep it moving. You ain't got to worry about no side chicks. You ain't got to worry about this man talking about you behind your back. And yeah, men make mistakes sometimes. But when you see a pattern, when you see that pattern, girl, leave. Ask yourself, is marriage what you want? Or are you looking for what marriage, quote unquote, represents? Do you truly love him? Or do you want him to love you so you can get the status and acceptance from society? Which one is it? Or is it that you want the adoration and jealousy from your gal pals? I'm not telling you to not be typical Tanya because I'm sitting somewhere being bitter Brittany. You know bitter Brittany? The one that craved marriage, really wanted marriage so damn bad, and now is suddenly jaded by the reality. People break up, people get divorced. But that's not the reason why I'm telling you this. I'm telling you this because as a woman, we as women have tried so hard to be what men want us to be instead of what we want to be as women, just so we can say that we have a husband or a boyfriend. Because being single, don't want to do that, afraid of that. Don't want to be alone, afraid of that. You can't be lonely when you love who you alone with. Let me tell you something. Ain't nothing more whimsical than me getting in the tub with some bubbles, a glass of wine, and a book with no man in damn sight. I love it. I'm not saying I want that all the time. Of course I want a man to hold me at night sometime. Of course I want to laugh and go out on dinner dates. But a lot of y'all want to laugh and go on dinner dates just so you can get some free food from a dude. Stop using these men for their money. That's another reason why a lot of y'all want to get married. You want his money. Instead of focusing on taking a man for everything he owns, maybe you should focus on creating a business so you can have another stream of income. Then you can really be on some boss bish status. So miss me with the, oh, Soncerae must be hurt. She's a bitter Brittany. I'm just smart. I get it. If you want to be married, girl, be married. Be married because you love him. Be married because he loves you. But don't get married because you want his money. Don't get married because you want the status. Go out there and get your own money and your own status. That way you won't need him for that. You won't need him to give you your confidence or give you your validation. Go ahead and snatch that shit for yourself. That's all I'm saying, ladies. Have vision and stay focused. Namaste.